Mookie,
Yeah.
and we back with another reaction video. Mookie,
Yeah.
yo, we got part 2.
Part 2 of what?
The video we reacted to yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Oh, okay.
What Alex.
Alex.
Yeah, you feel me? How they been playing? How the Mafia? I mean, I don't know. Was it the Mafia?
Right.
And they, I guess they've been targeting him ever since. You feel me? It was crazy. They made his career like terrible, bro.
Right.
But he still fought through it. I don't know. What you think, family?
I mean, resiliency is the best way. You know, when somebody trying to beat you down, you focus on your success and what you're good at, because that's something nobody can take away from you.
All right, bro. So this part 2 of the video, everybody said we had to finish up.
Right.
Let's get into it, bro.
So listen to this. Remember in 2003 when everyone in Europe was arguing that Henry should have won the Ballon d'Or over Nedved thanks to his 60 goal contributions that led only to an FA Cup trophy? Well, that same year in Brazil, Alex took a team who hadn't won the league in 37 years and made them the first ever team to win the Brazilian treble, carrying them on his back with 39 goals and 40 assists.
Don't forget he ain't never get called up to the World Cup, I think, too, bro.
Right.
Yeah, they did him dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, 79 goal contributions in a single season. For comparison, the most Mbappe ever managed was 65. And let me remind you that Alex was a midfielder. As Zico himself claimed, they did him wrong in 2003. He should have been fighting for the title of best in the world. They focused on Europe too much. What he did in Brazil was out of this world. But yeah, despite having everyone who watched him convinced he was the best player in the world, he didn't even get a nomination. And I'm not talking about that year specifically. He never got one. Even after moving to Europe and arguably playing even better than he had in Brazil, he never got nominated. He really couldn't catch a break, man. His story is just painful to read. Even after he led Brazil to the Copa America title as their captain, he was still left out of the next World Cup regardless. And even when he decided to focus just on club football, giving everything to Fenerbache, rejecting Dortmund and Barcelona, becoming their captain and contributing to 317 goals in just 344 matches, he ended up getting kicked out of the club like a dog. All because the manager was jealous of him. I really mean it when I say that he was sabotaged over and over again, that they just want us to forget him. So here's the story of Alexis Prime, the story of when the entire world decided to completely ignore a player who was quite simply one of the greatest of all time. So at Cruzeiro, things were rough. They had placed 21st in the league the year before, and when Alex got there, he had a 3-month contract. That was all. Nobody really believed in him, and Cruzeiro were doing awful yet again. Like 3 wins in 12 matches, kind of awful. But then, Alex debuted, and before you knew it, they were beating Vasco da Gama 4-0 and only missing out on the Brazilian Championship's knockout stage on goal difference. Once the 3 months were done, there was no doubt in anyone's mind that he had to renew his contract. Alex had made the club dream again. But what would happen the next year was beyond what anyone could even dream of. The championship. Cruzeiro hadn't won it in 5 years, so once their captain left, Alex was handed a armband and ordered to change that. So, he scored 9 goals and provided 9 assists in 11 matches, not only being the team's top scorer, but the competition's top assist provider. Every time they needed him, he was there. Even when they faced their biggest rivals, Atlético Mineiro, he not only scored 2, but also assisted another 2, making sure one of them was a stunner of a back heel. By the end, not only had Cruzeiro won the competition, they had done so without losing a single match. And so everyone began believing that if they could do that, maybe they could go even further, and with the team already qualified to the second stage of the Copa Brazil, I guess they figured they might as well bring that trophy home as well. And again, the one tasked with making that a reality was Alex. When Vasco da Gama came in between them and the trophy, he not only scored home and away, but even made sure to assist the 3rd goal. And in the final, well, what can even be said about that match? He scored a backheel goal so impressive that it literally silenced the whole stadium. First, you could hear the horns and the whistles. And then, nothing.
That was tough.
But you want to hear something else? Then listen to this. That wasn't even his best performance in the final. Then he went into the second leg with the match tied and provided not one, not two, but all 3 assists. Not only had Cruzeiro taken their second trophy of the season, but Alex had accumulated 6 more goals and 9 more assists in just 11 matches. Again, he was the competition's top assist provider. What a shocker, huh? But hey, this is all very cool and all, but you know what was even more impressive? By now, Cruzeiro were already 15 matches into the league season and had only lost 2. Precisely the 2 matches when Alex was left out of the team. There was a clear dependence on him. It got so bad that when he lost to São Caetano, he literally said, "I'm thankful I was on the team for this defeat. I'm serious, this whole Cruzeiro with and without Alex thing gets annoying." Imagine being so good that you're almost happy to be defeated because it serves as proof that you're not some godly entity who can turn any average side into the best in the country.
That's crazy.
I guess it wouldn't be too happy to know that this defeat would be nowhere near enough to stop Cruzeiro from taking that trophy as well, making them the first team in history to complete Brazil's domestic travel and instantly turning Alex into one of the club's biggest legends. I mean, how could they not love him? In the league alone, he pulled off 23 goals, the most out of anyone in the team, and still managed to provide 15 assists, enough to make him the competition's top assist provider. And I beg you not to think that he was some poacher. This guy was a midfielder. He dropped deep. As the newspaper once wrote, he was head and shoulders above the rest, like a chess master who could see what was going to happen 5 moves ahead. It was so good that Cruzeiro demolished every record in sight. Most points in a year, most goals scored in a year, and the same obviously goes for Alex. Not only did he take seemingly every award imaginable, but in fact, I gotta tell you one thing. In the final match of the year, he needed 5 goals to match Ronaldo Phenomenon for the most leagues scored in a year for Cruzeiro. But the funny thing is that Ronaldo was also the only player in history to have scored 5 in a match for Cruzeiro. So the only way to do it was to break that record.
5 goals in 1 match?
Yeah, that's tough, man. Jeez.
5 of them things, boy.
As well. But then, Alex noticed that his final opponent would be Bahia, coincidentally the team Ronaldo scored his 5 goals against. So I'm guessing he thought to himself, hey, if he can do it, so can I, because he went in and actually did score 5. As he said in a press conference, when the team went into the pitch, I already knew we were gonna win. You see what I mean? This guy was not normal. This isn't your average, the streets won't forget kind of player. He was one of the greatest of all time at his peak, being confined to the Brazilian Championship when he should have been shining at a World Cup. As the commentator said that year, I'm not exaggerating when I say Alex is the best player in the world. Not only should he be playing for the national team, it should be Alex plus 10 men. He should be the first name on the list. But well, though the new manager Carlos Parreira did call up Alex to the Confederations Cup, he was also quick to say, I have the best left flank in the world, Cleberson, Ricardinho and Gilberto, and if I'm gonna play them, it makes no sense to play Alex as well.
It took 138 iterations to refine the TIG-1 chassis, but it also took 22 birthdays and 16 neglected haircuts.
I don't even know what to say, but I'll quote Alex's autobiography. If I'm not gonna play after everything I did this season, then there's no chance I'll ever play. In reality, well, they did end up subbing him in the last minutes of their final match, trying to save that disaster of a performance, but though Alex did immediately score, they were still knocked out. While that infamous left flank trio scored and assisted a total of 0 goals between them. Yeah. Regardless, when Alex got back to Cruzeiro, at least he got a new contract as a reward for the previous season. In fact, he was literally making 10 times more money than the year before, since after all, to begin with,
at least they showed you something, bro. Because they playing, they doing my man dirty, yo. They killing my man, yo. My man didn't want to do nothing but play for the national team, bro. And he deserved it.
They still...
He deserved to play, bro. He a beast. You heard my man say.
Everything ain't fair, boy. Life ain't fair.
Nah, that's a fact. My man said, I love to quote my man just say. He said, this not your average streets won't forget type of player. This is a confined Brazilian, my guy. I said that right? I ain't said that right, did I?
No, but we gonna let it ride.
They didn't even really want him there. In his own words, they're paying me back now for what I did last season for free. And, of course, over the next 6 months, he won the Mineiros Championship once again, being the competition's top scorer with 14 goals in 16 matches. And though the team would then get knocked out in the last 16 of the Libertadores, well, Alex's head was clearly not in the game anymore, as by then, after 121 games for Cruzeiro and 125 goal contributions, his transfer to Fenerbahce had already been secured. And, well, once in Turkey, things would only get even crazier. So, first of all, it must be said, Alex was supposed to have signed with Barcelona, but just like everything in his life, the negotiations got complicated and he ended up getting fed up and joining Fenerbahce instead, despite the fact that he had rejected them a few times already by then because, well, he knew no Brazilian manager was keeping tabs on the Turkish league. He knew that going there was accepting that his international career was over, but at least he had one thing going for him. He had a Copa America to play before the season started, and with the manager looking for some redemption after the disaster at the Confederations Cup, not only would he make Alex a guaranteed starter, but he would hand him the number 10 shirt and the captain's armband, which meant he would absolutely pop off. First game versus Chile, he assisted the last-minute winner. Second game versus Costa Rica, he assisted all 3 of Adriano's goals. Quarterfinal versus Mexico, he scores the opener and assists the second. Semi-final versus Uruguay, he creates the chance for their only goal and scores in the shootout. By the time they get to the final, he assists Brazil first before being strangely subbed out, but they still go on to win it all, and despite missing a match in half of the final with 6 assists, Alex broke the all-time record for most assists in a single Copa America. Simply unbelievable. Regardless, knowing that chapter of his career was most likely done and with Anelka by his side, it was time to take over Turkey. And the goal was simple. It had been 30 years since Fenerbahce won 2 league titles in a row, and with one in the bag already, it was Alex's job to make sure the second came right away. And so, he made it very simple. He played around 2,700 minutes of football and scored 24 goals, the second most in the league.
This guy.
While also pulling off 16 assists, the most in the league, averaging a goal contribution every 67 minutes. Not only did Fenerbahce win the league, but Alex was more than rightfully named the Player of the Year. In fact, against all odds, he was even supposed to join the national team for the Confederations Cup.
Michael Jordan, boy!
Yeah, man. Yeah, breaking records, setting records, like
took the team to the ship, won it.
Yeah, man. That's
crazy that we really never heard about you.
Never heard of this guy.
But he ended up getting injured and missing the whole thing, once again watching from home as they won it all. Regardless, his second season was like the opposite of the first. Instead of 24 goals, he had 24 assists. Instead of 16 assists, he got 16 goals. Instead of winning the league and delighting the fans, it was instead mobbed by them in the middle of the riots that ensued after Fenerbahce handed the title to Galatasaray in the final match of the season. But at least, in the Champions League, he performed much better, scoring 3 and assists.
They be so quick to turn on you, yo.
Yeah, man,
he just put in so much work.
And he can't get a call up for a decent team, like
or the fans, they was going after him. They won a title.
Right.
Come on, man.
2 in just 357 minutes of football against the likes of AC Milan, PSV, and Schalke, leading his teammate Van Hooijdonk to say, "For every 10 matches we play, Alex decides 9. But no matter what, after a trophyless season, after missing out on the previous tournament through injury, well, it was very easy for Pereira to leave his name out of the World Cup squad yet again, and just like that, Alex was now the most kept player in the history of Brazil to never get called up for a single World Cup. To say the least.
Yeah.
But hey, at least there was something nice waiting for him at club level. Not only had Zico, his childhood idol, taken over as a new manager, but Roberto Carlos had joined him at the club, and above all, he had already been handed the captain's armband. So, under what were the perfect conditions for his game to flourish, Alex finally managed the unthinkable, winning the league while being not just the top assist provider, but also the top scorer, and earning his 3rd consecutive Turkish Player of the Year award. The only negative thing about that season was that Fenerbahce somehow failed to make it past the playoff rounds of the Champions League, even though Alex managed to put up 2 assists against each team they faced. But worry not, the next season things would be different. They went into the playoff rounds and it was easy peasy. Alex scored 1 in each leg and Anderlecht were out of the way, and then, Well, then he scored or assisted against every team he faced, even beating an Inter Milan super team in the group stage to finish it all with 11 points, the all-time record for a Turkish team. Then Sevilla came in their way, but even with them managing to put 5 goals past Fenerbahce's defense, Alex came in clutch with 3 assists, managing to get the aggregate score down to a draw and miraculously winning the shootout. Wow. For the first time ever, a Turkish team was in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The fans were already losing their minds, and then Fenerbahce beat Chelsea 2-1 in the first leg.
Wow.
As you might imagine, things got a little out of hand, but unfortunately the second leg was just torture. Chelsea tied the match only 3 minutes in and then dealt the final blow with only 3 minutes left on the clock. It was just merciless. With the dream coming to an end and after another season where Fener somehow went trophyless again despite Alex averaging a goal contribution every 100 minutes, it was time to get back on top before it was too late, and so a revolution took place, with Aykut Kocaman, the club's all-time top scorer in the Turkish league, becoming the club's new director of football.
Okay.
With one problem: he was incredibly jealous of Alex.
Oh, really?
Some even theorized that it was because he was afraid that Alex would break his record for most league goals in the history of the club. After all, it was close.
Man.
But yeah, the moment he arrived at the club, one of his first suggestions was to literally strip Alex of the captain armband. Why?
And why not, bro? Like, bro, are you really that much of a woman that you can't, like, bro, he's the top guy. He's the young guy. You should congratulate guys like that on breaking. They don't like that though, bro.
Yeah.
I seen that in basketball. Like Kareem ain't like LeBron breaking his scoring title record. Like, bro, come on. You had the record for how many years and it didn't get broken? You supposed to be happy when a dude, come and he's, just as good. Congratulate that guy. You know what I'm saying? But
we make records to break them, bro.
Yes.
Man, that's crazy, yo.
Well, all he told the board was that he wanted to get rid of all the Brazilians. Yeah, but of course, it was much harder to get rid of Alex. To many, he was the greatest player in the club's history, and even when Fenerbahce finished their season by losing out on the title on the final match day yet again, no matter how upset Kocaman was, no matter how aggressive the riots in the street became, Alex was still untouchable. So instead, Kocaman did what any sane man would do. He fired the coach and took over the team himself, despite having no experience. In the words of Alex, anyone could see he was a terrible manager, the worst I ever had. They just need to take a look at the results. He got us knocked out of 2 competitions after only 1 month in command. But as you might imagine, Kocaman was also quick to notice that Alex didn't really respect him, so their relationship only worsened. Honestly, Kocaman hated Alex. Look, at one point, Fenerbahce were on the verge of scoring their 3,000th goal, so Kocaman started acting weird, telling Alex, if the ball comes over to you, do not shoot, just pass it to someone else.
Wow.
Obviously, this only angered Alex, who was already catching up to what was going on, so he went in and scored after 34 seconds.
Talking about, he felt like Alex hate him. You come there, you take my man from the captain.
Yeah, man.
He can't get to his goals that he need to get to.
You want to tell him not to shoot the ball no?
Man, come on, yo. Talking about somebody hate you. Yeah, he gonna hate you. Type tip you on, man.
Crazy.
While the stadium erupted in celebration, Kocaman didn't move an inch. No celebration whatsoever. Regardless, as much as it seemed like an impossible task to carry such a dreadful manager to a title, the next season, 33-year-old Alex somehow managed to do it. And by somehow, I mean by scoring 28 goals and providing 16 assists in 33 league matches, a goal contribution every 61 minutes. And yes, not only was he the league's top scorer with 9 more goals than Burak Yilmaz, but also the top assist provider. How could Kocaman possibly be upset at Alex? It made no sense, but it only got worse. Out of nowhere, UEFA came after Fenerbahce, accusing them of corruption, and very soon, not only had they been banned from international competitions, but their president had been jailed, leading most of the team's top players to leave the club, while Alex stayed and remained loyal no matter what. Even leading the club to their first Turkish Cup in 30 years, somehow once again providing 3 assists in the final and scoring the 4th goal. And still, no matter what, once the next season started, now only 4 goals from beating Kocaman's goal-scoring record, Alex started getting benched regardless of how well he performed. And only a few weeks into the season, already out of his mind, Alex went up to Kocaman and told him, I feel like you've been trying to F me over from the moment you got here. And Kocaman literally answered, your feeling is correct. It could not have been more cold-blooded. Once the drama hit the newspapers, the fans were all on Alex's side. The very next game with Alex on the bench, they were literally chanting for the manager to get sacked. Only days later, they were unveiling a statue of Alex right outside Fenerbahce stadium. And as you might imagine, Kocaman had never been afforded such love and admiration. It became too much for his bitter heart to handle. And so, a week later, with his team losing, Kocaman subbed off Alex at halftime. I cannot stress this enough. This had never happened in the 8 years he was at the club. Once Alex left the pitch, rather than sitting next to a manager who was preying on his downfall, Alex decided to sit in the stands among the fans who called out for his name. This was complete humiliation for Kocaman, and so 2 days later, the club announced that Alex had been demoted to the reserve squad. In response to that statement, Alex drove down to the training grounds and terminated his own contract, went back home, and began moving out of the country. Within hours, thousands of fans showed up. They stood there all night chanting his name and burning flags with Kocaman's face on them. Not just Fenerbahce fans, but as odd as that may sound, Galatasaray and Besiktas fans as well, because they knew Alex was not just the greatest Fenerbahce player of all time. With 185 goals and 162 assists in 378 matches, he was the league's highest assist provider and the third highest goal scorer in the 21st century. All of Turkey mourned their fallen hero, a hero who perished still only 4 goals away from breaking Kocaman's record. This was a public assassination, and no one was left indifferent, not even infamous Turkish President Erdogan. Only a couple hours before Alex was supposed to depart, a black car showed up at his house, ordered him to get in, and took him to Erdogan, who told Alex, "I've called you here to apologize to you in the name of the people of Turkey, to thank you and your family for all that you've done for us, and to tell you that we hope not to lose sight of you, that one day Turkish football will pay you back in full." Before retiring, Alex would go on to play at his childhood club Curitiba for 2 more years, still somehow accumulating 38 goals and 20 assists for the club in just 85 matches. He was never short of extraordinary.
Wow. It's crazy, man. Talk about somebody hating on you, bro.
Right, yo. This is wild, yo. That's I can't believe.
Talking about somebody hating on you, bro.
My man went through that, bro. His whole career he been fighting, and he still was prevailing, bro.
Yes, he was.
He still was doing his thing. He just couldn't get to that the coach goal, man. Because they kept benching him.
Right, and then the coach was like really hating on him. You
Facts.
know what I'm saying? Saying all type of bad stuff about him. Then when he asked about it, he confirmed it to his face. Yeah, I said it.
So he just feel like, so I get what the video was saying.
Right.
He just really feel like the button pushers in Turkey.
Yeah. They
was trying to kill his career, man. Was trying to kill this man's career, man. This was an amazing player, bro. He did what he was supposed to do.
He did.
Man, I'm sorry that you even took the time to went through that, bro.
Lord have mercy.
Man, overall, anything else you gotta say about the video, bro?
The video was a cool video. You know, a lot of heartache, but you know he rose above it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And he kept doing what he was put here to do.
Nah, that's a fact, man.
And the fans loved him. You know what I'm saying?
That's the most important thing, bro.
The fans love him.
That's the most important thing. And he just didn't get called up for the World Cup, bro. Right. That's crazy. Look, man, if y'all new to the channel, this was an amazing video by Daily Dose Football. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.
Yes, sir.
We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. I'm Nick DUNSON.
And I'm Moogie DUNSON.
And we out, baby. 1.